afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We got a brainstorming type of show going on. It kind of takes me back about 30 years ago when I was outside of Washington, D.C. Well, this was before Mormon and Climax, but they found a person was supposed to have been 5,000 years old with Negroid features, okay? That was back then. But now with Climax Mormon, we don't know what we're going to get stored for. But today what we're going to do, we're going to talk about Juneteenth. We're going to talk about the Native Americans. We're going to talk about Kwanzaa. We're going to talk about Hanukkah. And we have some beautiful ladies. Just ask them. Who's going to be joining us today, and hopefully we have someone else too. But my name is MC Richardson. I'm the host and moderator of Guess Who's Coming to Kansas City. And we should tell you, get ready for a dynamic show. And we'll start off with first, we talk about Kwanzaa. We talk about Hanukkah. We talk about coming up in November, Native American Month, or American Indian Month. And we talk about we talk about the Hispanic Month, the Heritage Month, but we're talking about life in general. And I'm glad to have such tremendous guests on the show with us, and we're going to let everybody talk because we want to get all this good word out now. What's coming up? Just like, you got Kwanzaa coming up after Hanukkah, and then you got, Martin Luther King celebration. We have Black History Month. We have Native American Month. But now we're into a national holiday, and that is Juneteenth. Emancipation Proclamation, we're about on June 19, and Comanche Crossing, that was the day that I don't know what race was in then. You got the colors, you got the blacks, you got the Negroes, you got the mixed. But what happened? They opened the beaches of Galveston. Well, they had the red soda water, they had the real, they know about Kansas City jazz and barbecue. But we're just going to talk about that. So I think what we'll do, let's start out with the people who got this history. Let them, gentlemen, ladies, take everything. You start it off and we'll finish it. All right, ladies. Where we want to start?
Dr. Williams?
Yeah.
I guess you being historian, okay, I guess you could start off.
Okay, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to start off talking about. I did spend the day today at the Nelson Atkins Museum of Art with their Juneteenth program. Juneteenth, as MC said, was founded in Galveston, Texas, when they decided to let the enslaved people know that they had been freed. They had already been freed, and there were military folk in the area. I just learned this today from George Pettigrew, who were threatening the military that if they did not tell the enslaved people that they had been free, then there was going to be trouble. And there were riots going on because they wanted this to happen and happen now. And it wasn't out of the largesse and the goodness of their hearts that they decided to let the enslaved people know that they were no longer enslaved. So we celebrate that today. And in the 18th and Vine District, we've been celebrating all month. We celebrate all year because it's important, I think, that our people, and MC went through some of the history of naming that our people recognize that we're powerful people, that we are not owned, our futures are not owned, and that we have to take that power. So it's a great month to celebrate. It's a wonderful event, and I'm glad for the part that I can play and that the Black Archives can play in helping.
I do not know, but August 4th in Missouri, that is their Emancipation Proclamation in Clinton, Missouri. Are any of you cognizant of that, or what August the 4th is?
August the 4th in Missouri? No.
Yes, that's Missouri. That's their Emancipation Proclamation.
I thought that Missouri was emancipated in 1865 on January 11th. It would have to be my birthday.
So you kind of old, aren't you?
Yeah. But on January 11th, on the calendar for the events in Missouri history, they got down January 11th.
Okay, I'm a few days short, and you're ahead, right on time. If you couldn't say the 11th, you have to say 7, unless you're trying to throw those bones, right? Well, anyway, let's do this. This is something that is a national holiday, and matter of fact, CBS, Columbia Broadcasting, they will have on that Tuesday, actually Juneteenth Day, they will have a special program that a lot of people figure that we've never been free, we're not free now, so what you gonna do? We have other nationalities, they take it on themselves to get out there and take what should be given to them as the day they was born. That's what a lot of people feel about it. But we got some historical people here that can bring you up to date. And if you think you're not right, we got the judge there with us, and she can straighten us out.
I'll do my best.
I think we all will.
I do know that we finally got, like last year before last, the city of Kansas City has recognized Juneteenth, so we do have that day off as a celebration. And I think the mayor has put together something on the 15th for the city. I don't know if it's just for the city or city employees, but this hasn't been long-lived as far as celebration across the country. It was just in 2021 that President Biden signed the National Independence Day, the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act. So even though we've been celebrating it ourselves, it's not been celebrated as a country, but for the last year or two.
What do you do on Juneteenth Day? What does it mean to you? How do you celebrate? What do you know about Galveston? What do you know about when they freed the beaches up for you people? People don't like for you to say that. Go to the beaches and drink their red soda water, and then they have their ribs.
Well, you see, personally, I'll celebrate no best way I can. It doesn't have to be, be free. But as far as going to Galveston and the barbecue, I'm going to pass on that, sir. And so.
Well, I said ribs. I didn't say barbecue that time.
Oh, you said ribs? Okay, the ribs. Okay, the ribs then.
Yeah, I think there's a number of events going on. We had the parade. I attended the parade, the Juneteenth parade they had at 18th and Vine last weekend. I think next weekend they have another celebration down there at 18th and Vine again. And so I think there's a number of events going on across the metropolitan area where people are recognizing the day, and a lot of educational events going on as well, because a lot of people don't know what it really means. They know there's a Juneteenth celebration, but they don't really understand or recognize what it means or how important it really is to this country, and that's unfortunate.
Well, I know Juneteenth, this Juneteenth, Urban America Outdoors, we have a fishing derby that weekend yesterday also. And that's sponsored Wayne Hubbard and Candy Price. They have that fishing derby for the kids there in the park. feet up that I do. They do it every year. That's
Well,
something that's
that, but next Sunday, Howard, it's your day, Scott, it's your day, and you know it's my day. It's Father's Day.
oh yeah.
And we're glad to be here so we can tell our sisters this is the way it should be done.
Oh boy, I don't think that I don't think that's gonna go that way. I think you and I've been around longer than most people that sit on the phone here. And I don't think just saying that men gonna tell women what to do is gonna be something that's gonna go too well. Now they will help us celebrate. It'd be nice.
I didn't say women didn't run the show now. I didn't say that.
No, you said they're gonna tell us what to do. We're gonna tell them what to do or something. That's a fact.
Well, I'll wait till next Sunday, then I'll tell y'all what to do.
You know, here in Kansas City, there's a number of events going on for Juneteenth. Today alone, according to the calendar that's been pulled up, they've got in Liberty, they've got African American Legacy Festival or Celebration in Liberty, Missouri today. They've also got the Johnson County Arts and Heritage Festival today from 10 to 1. That was from 10 to 1. Next week at 18th and Vine, like I said, they got the Juneteenth celebration from 12 to 10 p.m. And then there's a Juneteenth Heritage Festival and Homecoming at 1722 East 17th Terrace. That's on the 17th as well.
That's the Black Archives of Mid-America.
Yes. And then they've got, it looks like a boho sway at the Canary. They have a Juneteenth Freedom Bash from 6 to 9 on June 19th. And then on Nelson Atkins next Sunday, tomorrow, the 11th, they also have their continuing Juneteenth celebration. So there's a lot going on. The Olathe at Indian Creek Parkway, they got a Juneteenth celebration on the 19th, and then they've got a Juneteenth jump off with KC Black on June 16th from 6 to 8. So there's a lot of people want to, that's just a few of them. There's a whole list of things that are going on in the Kansas City area if people want to get out and get involved and celebrate the holidays from going on for the next couple of weeks.
Well, also, we got a young man, I called him the Black Cowboy from North Carolina. That's Rex Purford. And you're talking about somebody know how to train horses. Well, he was part of last week, and he's probably part today, and he'll be around. And he will travel. He does know how to teach the horses how to do tricks. Now, I don't know if they're stallions or mares, but he knows how to do what to do for them and when and how.
And Rex did rope tricks last Saturday at the Juneteenth parade on 18th Street, 18th and Vine. Yeah, he's quite amazingly talented.
Okay, Dr. Williams,
Yeah.
when did you get started with the Black Archives, and what does it really mean?
When did I get started with the Black Archives?
Yes, ma'am.
I've been with the Black Archives for 4.5 years. I had a career as a college professor. I taught English and African American Studies for 28 years. I went to China and taught for a year when I was asked to come and revive the Black Archives. The Black Archives is not in the same location as it was when Horace Peterson passed. It was at 2022 Vine then. We're at 1722 East 17th Terrace on 17th Terrace and Island in the 18th and Vine district. We know that Mr. Peterson started collecting buttons and brochures and storing them in the trunk of his car when he was in middle school and telling people that he was going to open a black museum. We feed off of that. We build on that. We honor him and his work. I'm sorry that he didn't live long enough to see the archives in the building that it's in now, but his friends, people who knew him, tell me that he would be very pleased with what we're doing there. So we try to honor him and the legacy of black folk. We work very hard to make sure that young people who visit the Black Archives understand that we are not a pitiful people. That from those first steps on diasporic soil in this country, Black people have been survivors, they've been thrivers, and they've been successful against all kinds of forces working against them. So that's our mission. We have a T-shirt that we sell in our gift shop that says revisionist history with a line through it. Tell the truth. And that's what we do. We try to tell the truth about Black life in this country.
You know, I had a chance to visit, the archive this week when you first, Dr. Williams, when you was kicking off years ago. We had an event there for Toyota and the came a conference there, and I was telling anyone it's a beautiful building. If you ever get to the area, you need to go by and look at it. It's breathtaking. On the outside, on the inside, it's like an encyclopedia. Okay, so many treasures that you would just be fascinated. I will say, if you go with your mind open and go with some time to spend, just to enjoy yourself and just enrich your mind and your soul while being Black in America.
Thank you.
And you know what? I was going to say, I don't think a lot of people really understand the significance of the day in and of itself, that it had to take troops to be able to free the people, even though the Emancipation Proclamation was signed in effect in 1863. It couldn't be implemented in places under Confederate control, and so even though the law said the people were free, they wouldn't let the people free till 2 years later when they had the troops come down and enforce it. And so there's a difference between when we were really free and then we were really, really free, according to the actuality of it, not the law. And I don't think that people understood the struggle that it took to finally get things to be implemented. I mean, things went better for some people and worse when other things were created in place of slavery, where they had the chain gangs and all of that stuff, where they had the laws where they put people in prison for vagrancy or not working or just walking down the street so they could still utilize free labor. But there was still a struggle just to get people to be considered free in some areas of this country, even after Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation. And I think that people don't appreciate it as much. They look at it as the day that we were free, but no, they don't appreciate the fact that it took 2 years to get some people to get to that point, and not everybody was even freed at that time. They had different dates that they would allow people to work off whatever it is they said they worked off to free them. So there's a lot of history that people don't really understand. And I'm really happy that the Black Archives has been bringing some of that to light.
Another thing that people need to realize is that even after the law said that we were free, they instituted a new kind of slavery. We call it a neo-slavery. And that was with sharecropping. And it's just exactly what you just described. People were working for nothing still, but the same condition that they were in enslavement. So, and then if they tried to leave, they were often lynched, murdered, or jailed. The prison pipeline system began then. And she wonderfully described that they would pick you up off the streets, even if you're going to the grocery store, and say that you were a vagrant and put you in prison so that they still got free labor. So it didn't end. That kind of enslavement did not end with the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation or Juneteenth or any of those other acts that had to happen for enslaved people to learn, because they weren't told that they had been, and freed is kind of a relative term, because they still worked for no money. Even if you tried to leave, there were more lynchings along the rivers and more deaths along the rivers for people trying to leave. So a different kind, a new kind of enslavement was taking place.
Well, let me ask you.
Dr. Williams, one of the things that you talk about being free, even they came with the castes, where a lot of people, who were being jailed because they couldn't work, but they made new rules and gave sheriffs in different counties. In fact, in some cases in the country today, it's still not really okay. when you see us for sundown towns in certain places, I know in Missouri you do, that you still not free, okay? So but even Missouri was the last state in the union, remember, so it was right to actually go to recognize that unity.
Well, let me add this. Way back when, Horace Peterson brought the proclamation here in Kansas City over at the art gallery. Do y'all remember that? The Emancipation Proclamation? He had it here.
He did. They were originally going to do it at the Truman, bring it to the Truman Library, but it was under renovation, so they took it to the Nelson. And I was talking with Carrie Stapleton yesterday, as a matter of fact, who was the point person for Horace to get that here. And 10,000 people came to see that in 4 days. It came under guard, flew it in from Washington, under armed guard. It went to the Nelson under armed guard, stayed under guard, and went back the same way. Horace is one of the very few people, if not the only one, who's been able to get emancipation physically out of Washington, and he brought it here to Kansas City.
Yes. And that is a testimony to him. To being appreciated at that level, and even to do it then, and it probably has been done since then.
Yeah, I would be surprised if it has. Yeah, that was an amazing film. It wasn't done. It's not done routinely, and he got it here.
Dr. Williams, he would have the thoughts of the wherewithal, see the idea, okay, that it could be done, that it actually could be to meet the buildings going to be brought here, and and especially under those circumstances, I would travel, made it even more impressive to see that being brought here, being undergoing 24 hours a day, and you ask why they had to be undergoing all that. Well, I'm quite sure a lot of people want to destroy that document they possibly could back then. Even today, just to get rid of it, because it's such a that piece of paper did so much for our country and our people. It's unbelievable. On one document.
What about stepping back in time when the Europeans came over and just stole the land for the American Indian, the Native American, and they fought, and just like I stated in a show not too long ago, that the fur trappers, that's on the East Coast, they would marry the Indian maidens, and then they did away with them, killed them, murdered them, or whatever, after 5 years, and that way they took control of the land. They have always just taken anything they could, and they stand by the Queen of England and other people, that the Europeans, that whatever they want, the colonies or whatever, they just took it.
Well, I got a question about any programs that are coming, any type of movements or any type of initiatives that are coming to counter some of the legislation that has either been passed or they're trying to pass to limit historical teachings, to limit the history being taught, to limit diversity and inclusion initiatives that are putting in place, and even threatening to take federal funding if they are taught in certain schools or they are taught in certain companies or organizations. And so some of this stuff has cropped up in the last year that has actually been passed. And I wonder if there's any initiatives that you guys are working on with the Black Archives or any other organization to try and get some of that history out that people are trying to suppress.
Jared, before Dr. Weed get in here, I'd like to commend you for raising that point, because even right now in the state of Florida, we're not free, okay? Just this past month alone, 2 of the members of the Libertarian Congress were in Florida, and they were stopped and were trying to deport them, mainly because they were black women, that had and one of them was Candace Price. Her and her family were traveling to fishing over there, and they were pulled over on the highway. And the only thing that saved her from being deported at that time was the fact that she had her passport. I mean, and then another one of our members was there as an armor bearer from one of the Church of God in Christ ministers there, and it was at lunch after an event, and the I guess the patrol they have that came up to her and was attempting to take her until the pastor came to her aid, and the people there in Spain, and they were invited to Florida from St. Louis to be a part of an event, and only then would they let go. So right now, we're still not free, okay? It's free indeed.
You're right, but we're not. There are two things that we have to think about. One is de jure, which means by law. The other is de facto. De facto is a much stronger hold than de jure. You can tell people what the law says, but you can't make them abide by it. And those things that people want to hold on to the hardest and hold the closest to them have more power. So when you see these kinds of things happening, it's not because they were doing anything illegal or that they had, broken any laws. It's because they are trying to stifle the growth and the success of black folk. And they know that's power. And when they know that, they have to do everything they can to keep it from happening. So that's why the lynching was at an all-time high. Violence is sky high because they try to bully us and make us forget what the law says is our rights by that kind of action. When MC or one of you mentioned sundown towns, that wasn't legal, but it was a control mechanism.
And what sundown meant that you blacks here had to get out of town at sundown.
That's right. And it wasn't just an implied threat of what would happen to you. It was actualized.
Oh, yes.
It was a real threat. You couldn't survive that, and people knew it. So they used that power and that violence as a way to control people, even though the law said they couldn't. When we look in Kansas City, and there was a woman, I guess yesterday, who shot and killed her neighbor. She had been arguing with that woman, but she used stand your ground. Ralph Yarl got shot in the head. The man saw a black person on his step, and he shot that boy in the head, and then got out and shot him again. Those de facto issues actually seem to have more strength and carry more power than the law.
Yes, that's what how the lady is switching down. It was, I think it was one again, where she was shot through the door after her son's, the lady had taken her son's, I want to say, iPad, a cell phone, and like any parent, she went to reclaim their property and knocked on the door, and the lady shot through the door.
Yeah. That's those de facto things, and it's powerful. It's powerful.
Y'all talking about, you talk about Florida, you talk about, we got a place not too far from here, what they call it, Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in the Greenwood District, and they got coming up in July, they're going to have the Salas family reunion in conjunction with the Cherokee Nation, the Cherokee Freedmen, and we had a young lady that was dynamic from Oklahoma, and just extended that invitation for the world to come to also that weekend. You also have Raleigh, North Carolina. You have Chicago, and then you have Black Wall Street. Whereas, if you want to call them paleface, if you want to call them gringos, if you want to call them European, they destroyed the Black Wall Street, and no one has been punished for that. That was way back in 1921.
You see, you've been fortunate enough to give me sure right to be attending that affair. Am I right?
Right.
Yeah. So we look for a report when you get back. Okay, how well things went.
Well, also we had people by that dynamic show we did, Mr. Our folks, and the young lady, Miss Payne from Muskogee and Fort Gibson, Oklahoma, that people from St. Louis, they're going to order a bus, or they're going to charter a bus to go there by listening to our show. So, you might tell the people they don't know, maybe they get their pens, their pads out to tell them how effective our shows are that airs via your internet.
Well, I can't say a lot on my internet. Ferguson USA Hot Power. At Ferguson USA HotPowerHill.com, and I will send to the gracious Mr. Scott Owens. We station got started during the Michael Brown era, and kind of grew, and then we had ups and downs. But we were trying to be a radio station right now, being an internet radio station. Thanks to Scott Owens, we are now on Facebook, we're now on YouTube, we're now on Twitch. We also get our programs on Spotify, and we are around the world on every Saturday. And that's what we do here. Okay, it's affecting a lot of people in a lot of places that we don't see, but at least we've been heard there. And I think it's not all the time. We not talk all the time. I just think it's so much for allowing us to be. As a matter of fact, Scott actually purchased the station, and so right now he's the owner and general manager, Scott. So I tip my hand to you also, sir. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
I might ask Judge Peterson that you have something dealing with the youth to create or provide an avenue for people to get into the law profession. And I don't know how that's going now. Could you kind of brief us on what's happening with that and where it's being held?
Yes, I am on the board of directors of the Kansas City Youth Court. I'm president, and we have been going strong since 1992. What we do is we take youth ages 12 to 18. We train them how to be attorneys, prosecutors, and judges. And then we get real cases from Kansas City Police Department and the Jackson County Family Court to adjudicate in our court. It is a diversion program. Right now we are recruiting to get students in the middle school and again in the high school ages 12 to 18 so we can train them and have them be in our program. We've got training that's going to be held on June 17th and June 24th. And then they do a bar exam and we graduate them on June 28th. So anybody that might be interested, they could go to the Kansas City Youth Court website. They can get an application and email it to us with one letter of recommendation from somebody affiliated with the school. It doesn't have to be a principal. It can be a teacher. It can be anybody you work with at the school. We just want them to go through a process of filling out the application and a reference letter. And they'll be more than happy to be accepted into the program if they're interested. So,
can you give us a contact of how the person can contact them to get that information?
Yes, they can go on the website at just Google Kansas City Youth Court, and we have a website. They just go on there and complete the application and email it to. It's got the address, the youth court address there on the website, and it's got our phone number on there as well. Or we also have the email RNN_Hughes HUGHES at what is the email? Now I'm blanking on the last part of her email. I have to get that. I have to get that to you, MC. I was doing it off the top of my head, but I can't remember what she's got the last part. I don't think it's .org. But I'll have to get that because we were sending it to Rona's email. You know Rona. She's also on the board, and so we were sending it to her email. But there's an email. The Kansas City Youth Court email is on the website. So if they just want to Google Kansas City Youth Court, the information there for the website is there for the email, and then also the application should be on there as well. And then we've got a phone number if they want to go ahead and call, and we'll have our student who works at the law school return the call. We operate out of the UMKC Law School, so we have an office there. And then we just hired a new director for the program, Dr. Adams. Dr. Minnie Adams is a behavioralist at Grandview High School, and she's our new director. So she'll be doing the training on the 17th and the 24th. And then we have dockets twice a month where we bring cases in for our attorneys to adjudicate. And there are sentences that are handed down to the juveniles who commit the offenses that plead guilty or are found guilty. Usually it's community service or an essay or a letter of apology. But we are a diversion program to prevent kids from having records attached to them that follow them for the rest of their life. Children, make mistakes as they are growing up, and this should be a learning experience, not a death sentence. So that's what we do.
Judge, this is our folks again on behalf of the Riverbank Chamber of Commerce. I want to thank you for being our guest this afternoon from 1 to 3 on our program, where you did an excellent job explaining all the interworkings of the courses in Kansas City and some of in the state and around our state and other excellent programs that have been created to allow people to have their freedom from the court system that they don't understand, and also did an excellent job explaining how to avoid being in the court system. Also, I want to thank you for being our guest today.
Well, you're thanking the judge, but a person she mentioned is a former police officer, Miss Watson, out of Grandview, a good friend of mine. And when she used to be on the police department.
No, that was Minnie Adams. Yes, what she did, she used to be a sergeant on the. You're right. She used to be a sergeant on the Kansas City Police Department before she went to go teach. She taught at Johnson County Community College, and I think was even over a program, psychology department. But she was a sergeant at the police department before she went there. Yes, she did.
Oh yeah,
I was in Johnson County when she was there. She wasn't in the psychology department. She was in a community outreach department. She was fabulous.
Oh yeah, okay, I got my departments confused, and I apologize. Yes, she's wonderful, and we were so happy to have her.
Well, our future show, we got the judge, we got the doctor, and we get Minnie Adams now. We can get them. We got a lot of openings for people, so the public has a right to know. And with you two, I don't know what you say. You guys are sharp. And did I say the check's in the mail to me, or should I send you a check?
A check of any sort is appreciated.
But we're talking about Juneteenth. We're talking about what's going to happen, and I guess Judge Peterson, boy, she went through her archive. She got things listed all over. Did you really have to rehearse a lot, Judge?
Wait, you talking about for today, or you talking about for the shows you had me do? I was supposed to be a co-host on one show, and the next thing I know, I was co-hosting like a year.
And I tell you, you did a good job, too. So why should we stop? And just like I met this other young lady that just so happened, she went to Southeast High School, so she's a Knight and not a Laconian, a Lincoln person like myself. But you ladies out of sight. And we need to share them with different people. We got a lot of other talk shows around that the public has a right to know.
Thank you for your time.
Also, I want to have a jump in there and say, today you have probably two of the most informative, educated people, okay, in their fields, especially with the judge, okay, to the criminal system, and how it can be explained and how people take advantage of, the good side of the system. And also when it comes to Dr. Williams, okay, it's for what she does with the archives and what they have done in their past, and what they're doing in their future, which is bringing young people into our system on a level that they have not been invited to come before. They can keep them out of trouble and make them part of that issue. Thank you, lady.
Thank you.
You know what Dr. Williams to say about the other Horace Peterson's daughter, her role in this Juneteenth and it becoming a national holiday. Could you kind of bring us up to date? You guys been having parades, and hopefully it doesn't rain on your parade when you have it. But then they got a lot of that and stuff. And thanks, good. And this other young lady, I was so blessed to know this young lady. She has me up to UMKC. She seemed to like UMKC in Rockhurst to have her different type of workshops and thing. That's Judge Peterson, okay?
Makita Peterson is head of the Juneteenth KC organization. It's a 501c3 organization, and they work year-round getting Juneteenth together. It's not just the parade, it's a month of activities. They had over 75 entrants in the parade last week, and they have had all kinds of events all month long and more planned, including a genealogy workshop at the Black Archives. So she's amazingly talented. She works really hard, and she's making things happen to honor Black folk. And most of it she's doing in the 18th and Vine District, which makes me really, really happy because that's where the Black Archives is located.
The Black Archives, is gained, well, I love it myself. I always tell people about it when I travel. When they ask me about Missouri, I recommend Kansas City to St. Louis, Mr. Richardson. I had some events in Kansas City, Mr. Richardson. Okay, and we had the Governor's Awards, and we utilized the baseball museum and also the library there. When he went there, we had there that honored a lot of the Horace was one of the people that got an award that night there, and because it's a very beautiful facility in Vine Street. We being modest here. We're not mentioning right now, Doctor, you may want to do this. Bringing some of the features that get to the baseball museum, get to jazz museum. What's a lot of the other attractions located in Vine District?
There's a lot of up and coming happening in the district. The Joe Brothers Art Center is in the old attic school, and they should be open late this fall. Alan Gray, who's on the board of the Black Archive and the Alvin Ailey Theater Art, he's partnering with them to bring that to fruition. There's a whole new construction on 19th Street in Vine, and it'll be stores and theaters, restaurants, etc. on the bottom level, built-in garage parking, and there will be apartments on top. On Vine Street from 18th to 19th, there will be some new development coming in there, which is also comparable in that there will be shops, theaters, restaurants, etc. on the bottom, but there will also be housing there. So it's busy, lots going on. Soirees is an amazing restaurant there on the corner of 18th and Paseo. The Call newspaper is getting some renovations to their building, so they are in between Vine and Paseo District now. Blue Room, Jim Theater is always popping, something going on there most of the time. And they're good partners, so we have had many programs there. And of course, you know, Bob Kendrick is Midas when it comes to supporting and enforcing and growing the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. And they will be having their hot dog festival, I think August 5th. And but in July, there will be the Jazz Walk of Fame. And there will be new inductees there and performances. And that's right after the 4th of July. So check your email, become a friend on Facebook to these organizations so that you can see what's going on. But it's really busy. It's a busy time. And Councilwoman Melissa Robinson and others are having a health fair the 24th, I believe, in the district. And they'll be primarily at the Urban Youth Academy, I think. But all of the 18th and Vine District, including the Black Archives, is going to be extremely busy this month. So please come visit, come often, bring people with you.
That's a beautiful. First of all, there's a lot going on, and you know, it really, I think, really, to me, just next to what is a we don't care secret about what's on 18th and Vine, because people look at it for the entertainment district, things such as that, okay, but it's kind of like a cultural district, you know, in a lot of ways. Yeah, you know, and I think next to what they got going on up there in D.C., that's what, you know, the historian there. When you guys are producing that and easy to Vine, it's comfortable to something like that. You come down, you gotta take some time, you know, and just, you know, enjoy. And I think one of the things that you just mentioned, that a parking garage is being constructed, that has been one of the problems now I've always seen and dealt with, you know, that sometimes having problems, you know, places to park. And that's you guys are addressing that issue. Don't be quiet. Yeah, there you go.
We're gonna leave it there. Well, there is some parking on 18th and Paseo, right across from Suarez. They put a temporary pavement on that lot, so there's parking there. Across the street on the west side of Paseo, all of that is parking for Vine Street. And then behind, in our area, there's parking back there too. They've changed the traffic patterns, which should help some. Vine Street is now one-way north, and Highland is one-way south. So that helps some. But yeah, just come. The tiered parking will be a great help, though. We understand that. It'll be a great help.
And also, you know, it's a destination spot for nighttime, you know, entertainment. You're going out someplace, you cannot find a better place to go. You know, with the restaurants, the food, and the clubs there, and entertainment there. Something always going on down there.
It's true, very true. And there's security. The city provides lots of extra security on weekends, so it's safer. It's actually safer than Westport or the Sprint Center area. So please come.
And also, I'm happy to say the events that I know we have given in there, the Chamber has brought people from around the country in. They all have been very impressed, okay, that I didn't disappoint them, okay, about the 18th and Vine. And they all agreed they have come back many, many times. This is the first trip.
Great. Yeah, you know, I've always felt like if I could get people in the building once, they'll come back. And that tends to be what's happening, you know, just get them in. Come on in and see what's happening here. And they come back and they bring people with them. So we had 16,000 visitors last year.
Wow.
So we're really excited about that and hope to grow it. I want the Black Archives to be sustainable. And that's what we have to do.
Yes. Yes, right. I'm just happy to go ahead and Liberty and Commerce be able to brag about, what I have to offer. So I think right now, Kansas City, most recently, held some great events. NFL, but you guys also been Super Bowl champion. And we take your head off for that. That's a good congratulations there. Okay. And there's so much going there. And in fact, one of the things I'm not sure. But I can say this: if you're in Kansas City, there's places outside that they can provide that you can go and like we just said, security in there. It's probably very safe compared to most places, most major cities.
Yes. So we're really excited about that.
You also got a salesperson from Missouri. I'm trying to do my best to get people to come down to great state, especially Kansas City.
Yeah.
And you see, yes, St. Louis we got to build back up right now in our fair city, and we do have some attractions here on this side of the state that we have to brag about. But I will tell anyone, if you're black, if you want to do something, in Kansas, in Missouri, Kansas City is a place that you can go. We have nighttime entertainment, daytime entertainment places to go. And here on this side of the state, Ferguson, Missouri, also has a whole lot to offer. Since the Michael Brown situation took place there, I tell people to go to Ferguson. I take people to Ferguson. Once they go there, they're amazed how what a nice city it is, and how many things they're doing. They got going on there. And as a matter of fact, the chamber in the near future, we will be planning for having a small conference out in Ferguson. We also to be able to invite this side of the state to show off Ferguson, Missouri, and also some other people here in St. Louis. But I know right now we're talking about Kansas City has been taking the lead a lot of good ways. I thank you for that also.
Well, Kansas City also is the largest city in Missouri.
I'll wait for you to say that. I couldn't only wait for you to say that. Yes. And yes. It's the largest city in Missouri.
It's a shame that our time is about to run out, but we have these beautiful people on the show today, and I know they want to be on other shows, and they already done sent out their invitation for you guys to get involved with them. And so we're open. Guess who's coming to Kansas City? United Minority Media Association, the Missouri Black Chamber of Commerce, and people in general. We need you to get involved with us, and we'll get involved with you. So listen, shut your mouth wide open.
And also, I'd like to make an announcement. We are having the National Black Chamber of Commerce is having our conference in Atlanta, Georgia, where we're working now. We come as a team with the International Business League, which has been around since 1900 with Booker T. Washington. We also have the World Conference of Mayors. We're working together. So our conference we have in Atlanta, it should be Sunday, for these 4 days, that you can come to Atlanta, and we're going to have a lot of information. Now, if you can, I'm going to actually put up on our website for the station there, some of the attractions that we're having, some of the pieces we have there. That if you're a business person, and if you want to do manufacturing, if you want to do import, export, any of those things, okay, you can contact the Black Chamber of Commerce. I'll be more than happy to work with you. The numbers, area code 314-308-591. I'm giving you members all the time.
And I'd like to take this opportunity that in July I'm going down to the Salad family reunion that's going to be in the Cherokee reservation in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And last week I did one of my father. Had he lived, he would have turned 123 years old on June the 3rd. And then I also found out that my great-grandmother, like both of my great-grandmothers were named Martha. So I just assumed that was because of the president. But my grandmother under Harvey Richardson, the Reverend, she was a full-blooded Cherokee. And we all a mix up of keeping us together and spreading the word is really something that is beholden and something we all need to get involved with. And Judge Peterson, Dr. Williams, stay in contact. We're open. And same way with the youth, same way with the new director, we need to do something, okay?
Well, thank you very much for having me on, MC, and I wish you the best in your travels. Stay safe, and I appreciate everything you're doing with the Black Archives and 18th Street and Vine. You guys have made that place an amazing attraction, and you made Black Kansas City proud.
Yeah, thank you all so very much for including it.
Yeah, well, Dr. Williams, you used to read all the news clippings, okay, about what's going on there, and I think one of the things I'm happy to say is soon to be a very safe venue, okay, when people visit there also, in a family venue.
Oh yeah, yes, we do. We have several beautiful spaces that we rent. The Toyota people that he mentioned before had a national meeting there. We've had everything from baby showers to funerals at the Black Archives. Lots of graduations, all kinds of committee meetings, events, shows. So we do have some beautiful spaces that are available. So please get in touch with us. It's just blackarchives.org. Come visit. Come to the coffee shop. Have breakfast, have lunch. And let's visit.
And all you listeners, next Sunday is Father's Day. So ladies, take the fathers out. We always take you out on Mother's Day. And then that Tuesday is Juneteenth Day. So let's keep it real, ladies and gentlemen.
And so, MC, that you tell us that we're going to get out here on time?
We got to.